So when we're thinking about looking after ourselves at work, it's going to be really important that we're able to spot when we become stressed and spot when people around us might be stressed, staff, students, colleagues, for example. There's been a lot of discussion recently about academic workloads, about how individualistic and competitive cultures can impact on our stress and mental health and well-being at work. It's had some really well-deserved recent attention in the media. Some pressure at work is of course to be expected. That's a normal course of work. We work to deadlines, we work to busier times of the year. It's really important though that the pressure that one person might find really exciting, really motivating, can cause stress in someone else. We've all got different preferences, different tolerances and different experiences of coping with pressure. The main thing is that having a feeling of control over your schedule and over your workload is really an essential part of managing stress, and that's true for staff and for students. Now I want to say really clearly that your workload is not your sole responsibility, and your department and your universities take some of the responsibility for this. But in addition, you can support your own and others' healthy working by looking out for signs of stress. So some symptoms of stress are things like changes in sensitivity, so being very quick to anger or quick to tears, having strained relationships at home or at work, increased sickness or lateness or just absenteeism, lack of ability to make a decision, lack of concentration, memory loss or really cluttered thinking, and it might show as low self-esteem or low confidence. So just ask yourself now, have you seen these symptoms in your colleagues, in your students, in yourself? Be aware as well of the judgments that can be attached to these kinds of symptoms. There might have been instances where you've seen students labelled as lazy or unfocused or needy or poor quality because they're experiencing and demonstrating stress symptoms. So if you notice that your colleague or student exhibit any of these signs or symptoms, if they can't relax, if they're indicating to you that they rarely, if ever, feel like they're on top of things or in control, it's a sign that they need some support. So how could you support them in a way that doesn't make things worse or patronise them or make their stress your responsibility? I say the first thing is to time it right. So choose your moment to talk to them. Don't embarrass them in front of colleagues. Don't tag it on to the end of a meeting where there isn't time to give them the full attention that they need. And the main thing is that you call it out. Just let them know that you've noticed they're stressed and that you want to help. You could say something like, "Hi, you seem a bit stressed," or "You seem like you've got a lot on, like you could use a break and a deep breath. Can I help at all?" And then your main job is to listen, so just listening. Don't jump straight into advice mode. People often need to just vocalise or talk through a problem or a concern as a way of processing and understanding it, so don't shut down their talking. A good thing to do is to help them to make a plan. Talking things through systematically might help them figure out where the root of their stress is, help them to make a list or a map or anything that gets some stuff out of their head down onto a page or onto the screen. If you help them look for ways they can reduce what's on their to-do list, that could be very helpful. What can they work around? What can be done later? What are they doing because they feel they should, but they don't really need to work in that way or complete that task? Definitely make sure they factor in some time to breathe, to eat, to sleep, and to relax. And then if they seem receptive to it, you could ask their permission to offer them some good coping strategies. Unproductive coping strategies might look like wishful thinking, blaming themselves, churning things over and over in their head, just ignoring the problem, keeping things to themselves, or working longer or harder hours, and turning to alcohol or food abuse as a way to sort of self-reward or mitigate what's happening in their life. Positive coping includes making some immediate and short-term to-do lists rather than very long-term ones. It might be about focusing on what's positive in their life now, seeking help and support to get things done, improving relationships and friendships by spending more time connecting with those people, and taking time out to relax or pursue a hobby or interest that they have. And a really great thing you can do is validate their plan for them and make sure that your colleagues or students know that they've got your permission to keep reasonable working hours, to take a break, to re-engage with their hobbies and connect with their friends. In order to make sure of what you agreed, you could even ask them to summarise back to you in an email what they understood and what they're going to do. It could help crystallise their thinking and make sure that they're more likely to actually carry out any plans that they've made for themselves. So I hope you can see that these support methods, these are all about putting your students or your colleagues in control rather than taking control or taking over for them or telling them what to do. And why not check your own stress levels and how you're coping? Anxiousness and stress can spread from person to person. If you're stressed, they might be too. It's important to note that situations very rarely change on their own. Don't just wait for a better time to arrive. Notice and plan a way out of stress. That's the way to beat it. Some pressure, of course, is absolutely expected in the normal course of work. We work to deadlines, we have busier times of the year, that will happen. It's really important to say, though, that the pressure that one person might find exciting and motivating can cause stress in another person. We've all got different preferences, different experiences, different tolerances, and different ways of coping.